the VPN. I'm sure most folks have differing levels of VPNs set up for their organizations, or if you don't, then good news is now you may not need one. So direct access provides a secure tunnel through the internet without having to install additional software, without having to think of a PC being different from general network PCs in the organization. Just goes ahead and lets you create that secure connection into the corporate network. So some of the benefits of that, just right off the top, it's easy. There's no additional software to install. There's no clicking some funny VPN connector and having to type in separate passwords and hoping the authentication works and waiting for that time to elapse. Similarly, from an administration standpoint, these PCs are, they're very secure connection. They can be quarantined with features such as network access protection, make sure that we've got things like antivirus installed and operating successfully on the machine to protect our corporate network. And then also, we don't have to think about those PCs as separate entities. It's just like they're being plugged in into the network cable. So, things like group policies, pushing out patches and things like that can all be done without having to give special consideration to the PC that is off the network. And that can work across a hotel connection. One of our case customers has written a story about how it was saving him time and money and giving him the ability to do things he couldn't do before while he was using a cellular card in a laptop driving. So definitely good things there. And then just wanted to call out the change in remote desktop services or terminal services to remote desktop services. So Windows Server 2008 R2 enables virtual desktop infrastructure scenarios. There are some licensing requirements to do those things, but the features and the functionality are built right into Win 7 and Windows Server 2008 R2. So,
are there any bandwidth considerations that need to be met for direct access to work?
Direct access can work again. I might not suggest it over a 28.8 modem, but any modern connection, again, even a cellular card link is perfectly okay. If anybody out there still uses ISDN, that would be fine. Cable modems, all fine.
Kevin, I do have a question that has come up. I do a lot of work with different user groups and such around the country, and one of the first things that I hear come up with direct access is that's a really great solution, and it's got a great story behind it, but the second question is, what's the security behind it, and how can I control that? So, I hear a lot of people that, the first thing, and heck, it happened with me here, where as soon as I start talking about direct access, the people that are controlling my firewalls and my VPN clients and all those types of things, they're coming back saying, hey, wait, we understand this whole VPN thing. We know how security and access are controlled here. We don't get this direct access. So, I guess the question is, how secure is this, and is there any special consideration that needs to be taken there? And then the second one that comes up a lot is, can I control these direct access connections that are made? For instance, I don't want my CFO to be able to go home and somehow inadvertently or with some kind of devious intentions go out and connect his home computer via, on Windows 7 via direct access and start trying to copy, sensitive material off of my network onto a non-controlled machine. So,
all right.
What are the answers around those?
Big question. So I'll start with the last one first to confuse everybody. So controlling access is actually a relatively easy task. Data management and security policy is extremely important to Microsoft. So right out of the box, you can absolutely control through Active Directory who is able to connect via direct access, enable those connections or not, forbid them. And then again, you can also, on the side of kind of connecting to the first question, how secure is direct access? You can think of it as secure as a VPN. So it is an IP6 tunnel that's created through the internet. It's encrypted with the same level of encryption or possibly better than the VPN you're using today. And then again, it's actually possibly even more secure because if you employ like network access protection, again in that example, you can enforce those specific policies for your organization that make you feel comfortable that your network is safe and not being exposed to malicious things from outside the environment, as well as that computer itself. So again, enforcing, I need at least, my clients to have this level of patch applied. I need to enforce that they have antivirus applied, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay, great. And so just touching on your answer there, and there's a question in the queue from Matthew where, so in order to be able to use direct access, we have to have IPv6 enabled and in use on our network then. Is that correct?
With the server, yes.
Okay.
And so, probably any router out there today is supporting IP6. If not, time to upgrade.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Great. So I believe it's actually a step back in these slides. Go through these technology investment areas. So these are the pillars that Microsoft was working on with R2 release, and these are the technical pillars. So the first is virtualization. Key pillar, key hot topic with businesses and partners and businesses of all sizes. So what's new there in R2? Hyper-V with live migration. So as you may or may not know, Hyper-V got a version bump with this one. We're now the R2 version there. And live migration is a new feature. Some of you may have heard of it from one of our competitors as vMotion, but so effectively we have that same capability now. Also hot additions and removals of VM storage devices, also enabled by some of the clustering improvements in R2, such as cluster shared volumes. And then also remote desktop services, tons of improvements there from bandwidth utilization all the way to adding the support for VDI, just big changes all around there. In management, how do we get our servers managed? How do we get our clients managed as well? Lots of improvements. So power management has been improved, and the ability to set policies around power is new. PowerShell has been updated to the next iteration. Be curious, again, if it was live room, to see how many folks are using PowerShell today. And then Active Directory, some changes there to the Active Directory Administrative Center. Web, again, IIS 7.5 rather than 7.0, which was introduced in 2008. And now, if you are administering any servers that are web connected, this would probably be a pretty big deal to you, but we now allow ASP.NET on the server core installation, which was not previously possible. And then finally, the solid foundation for enterprise workloads, and this is really the pillar about scalability and reliability. Servers are getting bigger. They're typically running more things, especially as virtualization is introduced and servers are becoming more highly utilized. And then also just trends in the market. So we're getting more and more cores in processors. We've got 6 core processors today, 8 core processors tomorrow. Where that trend's going is just up and up. So software needs to be smarter, especially the operating system software, about how we utilize that hardware and take the best advantage of it. So in R2, we support up to 256 cores. We also allow booting from SAN or from VHD, which is something a lot of folks had asked for in 2008. And then also a new feature that I'd almost put in the management box, but file classification infrastructure is a really great way, and I'll talk a little bit about that in business value section. But to just take control of your files, especially if you haven't purchased a third-party package to do that, then this will be enabled for you right out of the box. So we'll move on to business value. So if you are interested in the upgrade and trying to think, gosh, what can I tell my senior leadership about why, what's going to be compelling about moving to R2 from whatever version I'm running. And so especially